Alright, boys and girls, we're going to start making the side curtains today using nuts and bolts pretty much. So follow along, we're going to get to this and get this going. Alright, boys and girls, this is where we're going to start making our side curtain here, okay? First thing we got to do is build the frame, which the original little plans I seen that Bruce had some crazy like 5/16 or something like that rod. I can't find that. But what I can find is 1/4 inch, you know, or like a 1/16 off. All right. So we're going to use that, and we're going to bend it to shape using our custom-made little bender here. All right. So I'll let you guys look at this here. It is just basically 3 bolts, all right, and 2 arms. And basically what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be pivoting around this bolt, and this is our stationary point. So when we pull that rod, the rod will go in through here, and this bolt will grab it and pull it around this, and this is a stop basically to keep it from just moving around. Alright, so you can just weld one of these up yourselves. You can buy them. I think they're like 25 bucks. They're not expensive. Alright, but see that? Either side could be the stop, this could be the stop, that could be a stop. Doesn't really matter. Alright, but basically we need a tool to bend this around so that we can make a decently tight bend. Alright, because we are going to have to make a decently tight bend here, and then this will be fairly gradual, 2 bends there. And then there's a rod also coming across here that goes from basically from the body line to the dash in the front. Alright, and that kind of gives you an area to make the side panel and then make the window. So I'm going to go and first measure from the bottom to the top, and then we're going to subtract a little bit. I think about 1/2 inch is what I did. I'd have to remember. But you need a little clearance. Alright, you can't make this thing at the exact same size because you got to remember you're going to have material over it, and also it needs to fit kind of inside the opening here. Alright, so let's see here. This metal frame in here is actually smaller than this. Alright, because I need room to be able to get those on the inside and all that stuff. So I'm going to go measure that, see how much I got, and remeasure this, see how much I took out. But I think it was either 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch. So let me get to that. Okay, so I measured, and from the end to here, where the bend will be, the total is 21.5. So we need to make it a little less than that. I have it marked here at 21 inches. So my marker's right there, and this shows you hopefully what we're trying to do here. Alright, and we're going to bend it to pretty much not 90 degrees. It's probably like 75 or something like that. You know, it's almost a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to bend that. I can't do that with one hand. Sorry, guys. I don't know where my tripod is. And I don't think you'd see anything with as much mess we have going on in the garage. So let me bend that, and then we'll come back. So we bent it. I had to re-bend it a little bit. It's not perfect. But anyways, we're going to put it up flush with the window frame and look at it. And it's got a decent gap all the way back. It's not perfect, but we're not striving for perfection here. Now we're going to make it bend down towards the side of the sail panel here. So we're going to pick this spot, probably about there or so, and we're going to put a little bend in this and make it start coming down, which is probably close, a little over a 45-degree angle. Alright, so we've put the secondary bend in, and one thing to make sure, so when you're bending the rod that you're trying to make the bins line up straight ways this way. If not, one bin will be kicked this way, one will be that way, and it's going to be a mess to try and straighten out. It's just easier to start as straight as possible. So the rod is going to become a problem here. This rod is like 6 foot, I think it is, and it's going to hit my body. So I can't set this up here perfectly like I want. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set the rod inside the car, and we're going to do it by eye. That's why we're getting a little, we left a little gap here about maybe almost 2 inches, just so we have some wiggle room in all this so that you can shift the frame forward or back depending on what you need. So I'll put the excess rod in the car, match up the windshield frame, and leave a decent little gap here. Alright, I'm going to come through, and I'm going to find where this connection is, where it makes from the roof to the body, and I'm going to put a little mark, and that's where we're going to bend the next piece. Alright, we got it kind of taped up in here, and as you can see, nothing's perfect, but like I say, this is all going to kind of sit in. I just got tape holding it all up, and my bends are not perfectly in line with each other as far as like flatness. And it's not really going to matter so much because it's going to kind of just be a frame to hold the actual plastic that sits out here. So I left a little room here at the top. We got a little room at the bottom. Actually, they want you to have the somewhat instructions I found actually wanted it to sit closest to the body as it can and have more gap at the top. All right, so we got about a 1/2 inch to drop this thing right there. All right, but I got it taped in here. My bin kind of follows. Sorry, bin kind of follows. Let's see if we can put a light on that. Doesn't help at all. Kind of follows the body line here. All right, and then you can see this is where one 6-foot bar stops. So on my Manx, it goes maybe 75–80% around. So it's going to take 2 bars just to make the perimeter, and then it's going to take another section of bar to make that centerpiece, because I do remember on the last one it just wasn't long enough to go from end to end. Alright, got a broom attacking me here, folks. So anyways, what we're going to do is I'm going to drop this down just a little more, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and where the dash is, I'm going to mark the bar. Alright, and I'm going to come back here, which is probably going to be pretty much this bend. I'm going to mark it here, where it lands here, for that 1 bar it goes in there to basically separate body line from roof line with the window. Okay, and then after that we're going to have to cut a piece to go from here to there. So I'm going to get my little measurements done, and then we will cut a bar and weld that all in there. Bam! Like that, it's welded, boys and girls. So, as you can see, we put our bottom filler piece in, and then we put a bar in the center, and it's about where the body transitions from roof to body. Okay, that goes all the way up to where the dash is. We have probably about 3/4 of an inch gap there. There's probably about 1.5 to 2 inches at the most there. So about 1.5 inch gap there. And it's fairly tight along the bottom. It's not perfectly tight, but we're not so bad. The body has a swoop in this area, so you're not, you could play with it and make it better, but it's not crazy. All right, but this bar right here is so that it has a defined area over there. It makes it look more roofish. Let's go look at that real quick. But it kind of lines up with the roof and comes up here to the dash. It's not perfect, but that's what it gives you. So now that we've done that, what we can do is make a template with the frame on some of the material we're going to use. So you can lay it out on a piece of cardboard. I have a big roll of cardboard. This is ram board or something. You can find cardboard boxes. You could use whatever, you could lay it out on the fabric even. But make a cardboard template of it, and then you gotta think you're gonna add to it. So approximately on this side, this was like a 2-inch flap here. I wanted 2 extra inches of material hanging over, but I doubled it over. So you'll need to make 4 inches. Same thing back here. This is a 3-inch flap that I made. And I doubled it over. So 6 inches longer from the metal frame. Same down here was 3 inches. Down there was 3 inches extra flat material. Doubled over, that makes it 6. So when you lay your cardboard template out, you want to draw out your frame on it, and then after that you can use the metal frame as a guide to make however wide you need. If you came out with like a bigger gap back here for some reason, let's say your gap was 3 inches, right? And you want to be able to cover up on the body, you can go from the metal frame out however far you want, and if you're going to double it over, double that number. So let's say your gap was 3 inches, you need 5 inches to be able to fully cover to the roof. You'd need 10 inches, right? So anyways, I'll show you a picture of that in a minute, but I'll lay it out on a piece of cardboard, then I'll make a pattern out of that I can go and cut the material. We can also mark for the window on that pattern with our framing as our guide. And then I made the material hang down about 1 inch farther than the metal framing, which means 2 inches because I doubled it over. Okay, I'm hoping this is making sense. Also, you'll want to make a nicer, gentler curve if you're going to put a zipper in it. Even if just to sew it, hard curves are hard to sew. It would be better to do a gentler curve. As you can see, this is a nicer curve than some of the others. So anyways, we get to that.